You fully mix on headphones, right? Like
Yeah,
primarily,
I do. I do.
but
And
not even like a fancy like VSX like
nope,
type of
just
headphones.
these.
Uh,
I hear the cries and screams of terror
yeah.
from the ether, and I understand you. I really do.
Welcome back to the Home Studio Hangout podcast. I am your host, Drew. Super excited to have a good newer friend here with me today, Sam Bowman. How are you doing, Sam?
Doing well. You doing well?
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. How's Texas treating you?
Texas is good. Texas is good. It's
As
it's a
always.
little moody today.
Yeah,
We're
not as
having a
hot.
cold front. Well, I thought I was going to escape the cold front because I'm going to Nashville in a couple days to hang out with some friends. There's a brand flying me out there. And then it's going to be 7 degrees when I get there. So no, I didn't escape it. A little colder. Our brisket's still better than everyone else's.
You're right, actually. And Dallas, especially, specifically Dallas. You're right.
Specifically Dallas. Oh, bless the Lord. Oh, my soul.
Dude, I have been to two times I've been to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Of those times, I went to there's a spot, downtown, like north of downtown.
Okay.
So you have the JFK side,
Yeah.
literally the other end. There's a really dope barbecue restaurant with like some of the best brisket I've ever had.
Amen.
In that
Amen.
spot. It's beautiful. Well,
Beautiful.
we could talk about steak all
could.
day. We could. Steak or barbecue or whatever. Dude, Sam, why don't you give the people who may not know who you are, if they're new to you, new to your lore, why don't you give them the overview of just maybe like what you do, who you are, just a general knowledge of that.
Yeah. I'm Sam. I push buttons, make noises, and show strangers. I do that for a full-time job, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Absolutely love what I do as a producer. Get to support other people. Got a network of couple dozen artists that come to me for production, mixing, mastering services. Get to walk alongside them as they make their music, and I get to help them out with that. Have a closer network of people that I write with and mentor and all of those things. I write my own music. Have been doing that for too long.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while, and it's been so sweet. Yeah, I don't, there are lots of things that I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 10, 20 years. I don't know if I'll still be producing, but I know for sure that I'll still be writing, even if it's, just for my family.
Yeah.
It's just a sweet part of what I get to do.
Well, people seem to like it, dude. You're sitting around like 50,000 monthly on Spotify, which is like very impressive.
It's sweet. I'm just grateful that people want to give it the time.
Yeah.
To listen. That's been a real surprise. I didn't expect to be an artiste. That wasn't the plan. I started making beats.
Behind the scenes kind of guy.
I don't know. I just enjoy that kind of thing. I enjoy the mechanics of it all. I enjoy a good songwriting concept executed well, and I like making music that's good on a holistic scale. And so I try and do that. If people like it, great.
Yeah, cool.
I'm grateful.
We got connected through Matthew Parker, guest of the show, friend over here on my side. You guys do a lot of the Young Pop Renegade stuff together. I actually don't know how you guys met. I don't think I ever asked either of you that.
That is funny because like Matt's one of my best friends. We're tight. Yeah. We have very similar senses of humor, and once we met, we gelled pretty quickly. Just as Sam and Matt. And then there's the whole dimension of like, hey, you like Serum, I like Serum, we like sound design. This is great. This is gonna be fun. He dropped some stems for one of his songs on SoundCloud years and years ago. I was working for a church part-time then in college. During COVID, just a bajillion hours a week working, wanted something creative to pursue. I remixed his song. I want to say it was Snapshot, with Jay Steph, our buddy. And he found it. It was like, hey, do you want to remix Bloodstream, the song that I'm working on? I'm like, Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a
Yeah,
fun
yeah.
time. And we kind of got connected from there. Started working on things. We've been Uno reversing each other with remixes since then. So almost 5 years ago.
And collabing on each other's songs, co-writing on
Yeah,
stuff. You
I was
did
just
Weather
thinking
Boy
about
with
it.
him off his
Weatherboy.
album. Yeah.
We've probably got like 10 to 15 songs on Spotify that both of our grubby fingers are
I
on.
was gonna say you probably have an
Yeah,
album's worth of songs just as Matt and Sam.
it's been sweet. It's been sweet, especially like counting remixes and stuff,
Mhm.
which like that's a fun way for Matt to get his spin on my song or myself to get my spin on his or what have you. And that's been sweet. Collaboration's really precious to me in the production world because you get to hang as people and as creatives and get to see what happens out of it. And that's been really, really cool. But yeah, that's kind of
Yeah,
Matt
that's
and my
I didn't know. I don't think I had ever asked you. I think the first time we communicated online, me and you did, and then I think we met in person that time you came down to write. I think it was actually when you guys did Weather Boy.
Yeah.
We're working on it, maybe. I think you
Yeah,
shot the music video for it.
we shot the video. Yeah, I flew out to Greenville and got to hang with you guys. And
Yeah, dude.
I had coffee with cardamom in it. And I realized that day, I went to bed and like, dear diary, cardamom is good in coffee.
Oh, it is.
And
And
I
also, I was about
yeah.
to say, and also, you came to the right city because Greenville's got a banging coffee scene, to be honest.
They do. They really do. Yeah, no, y'all have it figured out. It's really cool.
It's quite good, to be honest. The only second to Nashville and LA, in my opinion. And which
I could respect it.
Yeah, but it's also different.
See, I've got to test it. I'm literally in Nashville in like 2 days.
I know, dude.
Got to figure this out.
I know, dude.
Come on, Nashville. Show me what you got.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. But yeah, no, I would love to hear, because I don't think I've even asked you this. Like, how did you get into the like music production side of things? Because I know you were, like you said, I think you even told me this before, that you were like, oh, I kind of more wanted to be in the background. And was that always the plan originally, like to do more of the background production kind of stuff? Or how did you kind of get into that world?
Well, as far as production goes, I wanted something to do on my iPad when I was 12, and Temple Run, I was too good at it. So I needed something else to do.
Yeah.
And GarageBand was around.
It's free.
This was back in the day when you only had 8 tracks, handful of loops, and really creatively divergent synth sounds.
Yeah.
And
non-applicable synth sounds. We'll call them that. Yeah.
Yeah. I made my first record on that iPad. It was great. I think all the files were M4As. It was awesome. Because that's all you can get out of GarageBand on an iPad. And I don't remember who pulled me aside and was like, there's GarageBand on Mac. I'm like, no way. You've got to be kidding.
It's also
wild.
free.
And it's free. But yeah, started doing that junior high. And making beats has been kind of part of my world since then. I really love getting to put stuff together on a conceptual level. It's it's fun. It's a fun way to spend time. I like it. Career-wise, I was going to be a pastor. I wanted to go into the ministry. Wow. And
it's quite a pivot.
It is. It really is. And then it's not in some really weird and interesting ways.
True.
But I would lean towards pivot. Well, it's huge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and like mainly from like a mental shift. It's like a pretty different way.
Exactly.
Like way more like less establishment focused and like they're way less structural.
Way less structural. Oh my word.
Yeah. Way
less structural. Was going to be a pastor, was on staff at several different churches around my hometown. The Lord was just clear that that wasn't a calling that he wanted me to pursue right then. It's not something I'm ruling out long term. I wouldn't say so, but as of right now, no. That's not what I want to do. I'm passionate about the word, passionate about it being taught well. And I like that element. It's precious to me. The church is precious to me, but and then the Lord kind of made that clear my senior year of college, which is a great time to change your career path.
Yeah. Great time.
Production was what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
This was around the time when friends were starting to reach out about their records. I know Ben Lawrence and I were working on his record at that time. I know he's been a guest on this show.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Jay Steph, we mentioned earlier on Snapshot, was working on his record around this time. And the Lord just kind of started putting things together of like, hey, you can do this for other people and charge industry level prices. And I'm like, aha, I like that second part especially.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just kind of been the last couple of years now. Production was not plan A, nor was it really plan B, but I do think it was the Lord's plan, at least for 2025. And I couldn't be more grateful. There's, I do find myself going, golly, I have the best job. It's not like
they'll wake up and just kind of roll out and just be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, what am I gonna do today? I'm gonna make cool stuff.
I'm gonna make cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's sweet to be able to look back and thank the Lord for what He has done to put me in the situation that I'm at now. Did it take work? Yeah, it did.
I'm about to say there's two parts of that, which is like, Noah wasn't supposed to be a pastor and was like, all right, so the calling is music. That's dope. But then there's the actual like application and doing of that, which is like a totally different conversation.
There is a huge difference between knowing and doing. And honestly, that's been a lot of like where my personal writing has lived over the last couple of years. It's like, okay, you know the truth now. Like, what do you do in light of it? You don't get to just go, yeah, I know, and then walk away. That's that's not life. And so being challenged with that has been really sweet. And then the Lord's really paid dividends with that in terms of getting to meet new people that I wouldn't have gotten to meet otherwise. We're probably talking 100, 120 different clients over the last year.
That's amazing.
I've gotten to rub shoulders with and connect with. And it's been incredible because it's fun to make music, and it's also fun on the relational level too. Like, you get to engage with so many different people that have so many different genres or sounds. I'm in the lo-fi world, in the dubstep world. That alone is a genre panic attack.
Yeah, very different.
The orchestra world, string arrangement thing.
You do a lot of singer-songwriter stuff. Like,
do a lot of singer-songwriter stuff.
Yeah.
The indie Christian adjacent world. It's been fun, and it's been definitely stretching as a producer to be in that many like spaces, because that takes a lot of brain energy.
Well, was that the plan? Like, did you go in going, I want to do everything, or did you go like, I kind of have like my lane to start?
Yeah, I think honestly that was kind of dictated by what was around me, and I kind of just enjoy all kinds of music. There's not really one kind that I listen to. Oh, look how quirky and eclectic I am. But like, I really do enjoy so much. And so it kind of made me more willing to take a lot of different jobs. I think even now, I wouldn't say that I have a particular niche that I fit in. Not that I'm avoiding one, but that I'm not really seeking one.
No, but I think your personal music from like an artist definitely has like a lane that it fits in, which is like EDM pop adjacent like music.
Emphasis on the adjacent.
Yeah. But it's like combos of different styles of EDM with pop music, I would say is like, that's kind of like the combo. So, cause I know you do a lot of drum and bass, you do some dubstep, you do like some synthwave stuff I've heard, some different fusions of different things that are pretty cool. But at the same time, it's like all like very pop centric as far as like being very accessible. You try to make those things more accessible than the true genres that they are sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's probably a whole conversation in and of itself, is like, Christian drum and bass is an interesting group of 4 words. For lots of different reasons. And
if you understand the culture of what drum and bass is,
exactly,
it's not anywhere close to a Christian dynamic.
No, and like, what even is Christian EDM in the first place?
Yeah,
is also a great conversation to have as well.
Yeah,
and like, but at the same time, it's like, my music is crispy. It's poppy. It's and the goal is for it to be accessible, because generally, like lyrically, I want things to feel conversational, and the sound, I want things to feel approachable
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I think that what I'm trying to say is important, and that's not to inflate a message. It's to go. This is stuff that I think the Lord has told me that
Mm-hmm.
if I pass it along, I want you to be able to understand.
Makes sense.
If you happen to want to, and if you just want to listen to the beats, awesome. I
Yeah,
hope you enjoy it.
also dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Also dope. I would love to hear from you, like, because you said you changed a career
Hmm.
trajectory senior year.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it to my senior year. I was changing my
Oh,
career
sick.
trajectory in college. Sophomore year, I was like, I was in for education, music
Yeah.
education. So I was like, Psh, this sucks.
Hmm.
I'm out. Hilariously enough, I teach more on YouTube than I ever have in
Let's
my
go.
career, but it's just very fun. It's very weird how life works like that, you know.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to be in the structure of the traditional education, which is fine.
Totally feel that.
Uh, and so, your pivot to, all right, well, let's do this music stuff. I feel like a lot of people, because you never really went into the workforce outside of just like,
No,
you went straight into, did you graduate? Did you end up
I did.
graduating? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
you graduated right into like working for
Hmm.
yourself, which I would say is probably pretty rare for most people. I mean, you still had like part-time things and things like that, but like
Yeah.
your full-time focus was like having the music production side of things like take off.
Right.
Like that's probably a lot. Honestly, that's probably where a lot of people that listen to this podcast are at in their trajectory.
Yeah.
They're
I was
like,
thinking.
I either have a full time job and I'm doing this thing on the side and I want to make it my full time thing, or
Yeah.
I'm in the college area or about to graduate or freshly graduated, working a part time thing and trying to make the music thing happen at the same
Yeah.
time. Like, I'd love to hear your experience of that part of your life.
Well, to put it professionally, it was very scary. I didn't like the thought of no structure.
Yeah.
Frankly, I enjoy the structure, and so
Yeah.
it was definitely a leap of faith. And like that phrase, I think is cheapened a lot by how often we say it and what context we say it in.
Sure.
No, it was definitely like I don't really know what's going to happen, but all I have really is what's in front of me to do. And so I'm just going to do it the best I can. There's a old poem by a dead person that is just really dear to my heart. It's anonymous and was popularized by a woman named Elizabeth Elliot, but it's called Do the Next Thing. And I actually ended up adapting it into a song on my own profile. But the only reason why I bring it up is because how formative it was to how I make decisions as a 20 from. Like
Mm.
sometimes you don't have all of the results, sometimes you don't have all the guarantees, and that's
Mhm.
okay.
I would argue most of the time you don't.
Welcome to Undersun. That's how we do things here.
Yeah. I was
Like,
about to say, yeah.
yeah.
I suppose, especially in the, I would say freelance industry blanket, because
For sure.
I know a lot of video guys, I know a lot of like actor people that are YouTube people that are just like trying to make the thing happen,
Yeah.
and the coming from you didn't really come from cushy job, but I know a lot of people are
Mhm.
in job with like
Right.
stability
Hmm.
and want like I totally understand that stability. I had that stability,
Hmm.
but like you said, jumping into that
Right.
is truly
It's a
like
jump.
terrifying.
Right. But sometimes, like, I don't know, one line of that poem is Fear not tomorrow's child of the king, leave all resulting, do the next thing. It's not up to me to figure out the results right now.
Mhm.
What I have to do is figure out what's given to me and then just do it. Now, that's not to put a spiritual band-aid on things. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to justify my decisions because I said God told me to do it. That's awfully convenient now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's more along the lines of, am I engaging with the scriptures? Am I paying attention to context of community? What are they telling me to do? What do they affirm? Um, exert wisdom, you know, but at the same time, if it's laid before you to do, sometimes the fear is not going to go away and you have to do it afraid.
Yeah.
That's sometimes it's simple, and just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not
Easy.
difficult.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know. And I definitely don't want to sound like some kind of saint for having done it. That's the biggest concern for me, because it's
yeah.
I don't know. It was just what was out there. It was the most easily accessible. Like, it was already making money for me. So why not build and see what happened? And the Lord graciously chose to use that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do feel like there's a bit of and I'd love, honestly, to hear your thoughts on this, but there is a little bit of an idealism that comes with being full-time. It's like, oh, well, I'm not a legitimate creator,
dude,
if I'm not full-time.
My gosh, yes.
Maybe someday I'll make it, and I'll be a good artist, right? Good artist on this side, because I'll be able to quit my job. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It does. Well, it actually, so spiritual side out of it, logically, it doesn't make sense.
Logically, it doesn't make sense.
Let's talk about that first.
Just confine it to that. It doesn't make sense.
Confine it to that makes no sense.
Right.
Financially, for sure, doesn't make sense.
No.
What are you talking about? You're gonna say that, oh, I have to have stability. Therefore, I'm going to look down upon myself for having stability. Right. Because especially for a lot of people that are getting into this, it's like, oh, I'm already married, or I already have a kid, or I'm trying actively to go towards that life. And it's like, you got to have some sort of stability. Right. And like, why would you downplay yourself just because that's a part of your life? It's not a bad thing. Yes. If anything, the stability allows you to do the other thing. And if you want to do the other thing, a lot of people, just being like really blunt and honest here, a lot of people aren't good enough to do the thing full time. So if it's that, then it's like, hey, why don't you try the in tandem part of that? And don't jump the gun into just being full-time because it looks cool to be full-time. You know, I didn't go fully full-time until a couple of years ago. Right. And like, I'm pretty open about that. I even do a yearly, I think I dropped one like yesterday, where I do a yearly recap of like, here's what my year looked like in full-time music. Here's the ups and downs. Here's what music production things I learned. Here's the content stuff I did. Here's the financial side of it. Like, here's what happened. And I tried to do that, you know, for year 1 and year 2. I'm probably going to continue to do that because I think it's good knowledge for people to see how things traject over time. But at the same time, I was also working at that 10 years prior to like get to that. And like learns the stability and learn how to build a business and learn how to do that thing. I wanted to be full-time, sure, because I wanted to devote all my time and energy to this thing that I wanted to do. Idealistically, sure. Right. But at the same time, I had a kid. I'm married. I got to provide, and I got to like also be a part of financially contributing to our life. Yeah. I can't just like be like, all right, well, I want to do this, so I'm going to hem-haw around in my house and like hope to God that he sends me somebody that is going to launch my career. I even had that before that. I had multiple of those before, and I still wasn't full time.
Exactly, because we're not necessarily looking for a first opportunity to get into the music world. We're going, this is a job. Yeah. Just like any other field is a job. And we're going to do the job well if it's given to us to do the job. But this is not some idealistic future. I think really important, you said earlier, you had to drop this recap on the ups and downs. You didn't drop a recap on the ups.
Yeah.
There's downs.
Oh, yeah.
I have rough days in this job, and that's okay. Everyone has rough days in any job. Again, welcome to life under the sun.
Yeah,
like
dude.
That it's not going to be this idyllic paradise. I'm not frolicking in FL Studio Field. You know, that's not how this goes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and on top of that, it's not there's not, and maybe this is a testament to just like the nature of how the internet is right now, where it's like, oh, you see instant success because you've theoretically never seen somebody, and then all of a sudden they're everywhere, and
Sure, yeah.
they're the next Chaperone or Sabrina Carpenter,
Right,
who
yeah.
has realistically, they were both working 10 years prior and had totally different careers that had its own
We should have seen it
issues.
coming with Sabrina. Like,
Yeah, that one too.
why is this
But
a surprise? We should have
well,
seen this coming with Olivia Rodrigo. Why
well,
is this a
but
surprise?
yeah, but at the same time, I know people give them flack because they had like previous Disney careers.
Oh yeah, no.
There's a million people who attempted that trajectory, like turn, and didn't do it.
Right.
It's a hard thing to break out of, is to be like, oh, I'm a kid actor. I have this predisposed like viewpoint of who I am as a person now.
Yeah.
Like I have to break that and become like a totally new identity in the eyes of the perceived public or whatever, to make the music that I want to make.
Yeah. But it still impacts how we see the relationship between investment and results. And the world doesn't work that way all the time.
Yeah.
And that's hard to acknowledge for me. It's hard to acknowledge for you.
Yeah.
We're people.
It sucks.
That's how this works.
I wish it were that easy.
But also, like, it should kind of force us to kind of look at the whole scenario from a different angle. What actually drives us to production anyway? What is our driver? And like, yeah, I had to have some really hard conversations with myself and others to go like, okay, what is the driver here? Why do I want to do this? Like, it takes a certain kind of personality to go, yeah, I'm so convinced of the fact that I've made something worth listening to that I would actively like to promote myself and sell myself on the internet.
Yeah.
I hate that sentence with every fiber of my being. I don't like that at all.
But you got to do it.
What we're doing.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it. It's part of the job.
This field, yes, you do. And if I wasn't even talking about it, it's kind of uncomfortable. But like, if I wasn't convinced that people actually wanted that, then I probably wouldn't be doing it. But there still is like an aspect of like, okay, it does take some kind of engine to drive me towards this job in the first place. What is it and why? And if the answer isn't love for the job, love for the people that I'm impacting while doing it, love for the word as I'm writing about it, love for the client that I'm helping out. If the answer is not love, then maybe I would need to reconsider. Because nothing's going to keep me there if it's not that, you know, there's a lot of like contrarian ways of looking at this. Well, I want to do this because I want to not be XYZ. That's not good enough. Like, you have to do something you want to do, not do something because you don't want to do something else. That's not going to keep you there.
And you also have to do something, like you said, the love of it has to be that you could do it 10,000 times repeatedly for no money.
Yep.
While living in a closet.
Yep. Yeah.
Because you would be doing that anyway. The tricky part, I think, with a lot of this is, and you know, kind of harking back to your transition to like deciding to make this transition to full-time and all this kind of stuff, is like that there comes a change with that. There does come a change with that. And I don't think a lot of people don't get to see that side of it, which is, I'm making this decision to make this my full-time thing. Therefore, now music is my job. That's awesome. That's great. That's cool. It's a job now. You do have to show up like it's a job now. And that creates a tension point with the thing that you love and now the thing that's forcing you to work.
Right. And it also, again, kind of pulling back to my point earlier about love. Are you pushed to a place where you resent it because it is your job, to where you don't have the same level of enjoyment doing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and from a creative, from somebody who, I mean, we both like have a passion for original music
Mm-hmm.
in some capacity. How does that suffer because we spend our time doing the same tasks, the same mechanics, for others, the other songs that we love, but like they didn't originate with us. They're not our creative child.
Yeah.
And so, and it's the same mechanics. So how do we preserve our passion for what we want to do? That's another really difficult question that kind of comes with having to show up for work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that none of this comes across as like, don't go full time. It's
No, I think it's a very big not red flag, but it's a very big like yield sign of
yeah,
like, hey, let's take a
yeah.
step back. It looks really good. It's super fun. I'm gonna be honest. It's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. It's the greatest
Yeah.
decision I've ever made outside of having a child and being married. It's
Yeah.
it's one of the greatest decisions I've ever made in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And with that decision came a ton of work, and with that
Yeah.
decision came a ton of other choices that had a lot of things that had to be said no to, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to be willing to turn all of that down in order to say yes to this. And so let's just like take a step back, take a pause, slow it down for a second from all the excitement of getting on the other side of it, and say, that's dope. You still have to get to the other side, which takes work.
Yeah. Life's hardest decisions aren't between good and bad. It's between better and best. And when you decide that production is best, incredible. Yeah. I do think production is best. I love this job, man. What a privilege. Seriously. Some of the sweetest interactions of my life have come from this. I wouldn't change it for the world, but yeah, count the cost. When you choose to have a child, you're saying yes to no sleep,
Oh yeah.
a lot of mess, and a lot of inconvenience, but it is one of the sweetest yeses you can possibly say.
Yeah.
Production is not a child, but there still is there's some upfront work you've got to do.
Yeah.
You've got to be willing to become teachable in a lot of ways. Like, oh, I've got to like learn sound design. I've got to learn how to mix this whole new genre that I don't make. I've got to figure out how to basically do customer service. Because in a lot of ways, production dovetails with customer service a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's a service industry.
It is. And like, you have to be cool with that, right? You don't call all the shots. You make cool beats. You mix cool beats. You master cool beats. And there's still so much joy in that. Mm-hmm. But even just setting expectations can really help you so much in the long term. And I say that as somebody who's learning every day what that looks like in new and exciting and good ways. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you shy away from it.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to hear. There's like two more things that I'd love to talk about, and then we can get into nerdy production stuff. I would love to hear how you figured out, because I feel like this is a big thing that people don't understand early on. It's like how to charge.
Oh golly,
and because I feel like that's a big black box that a lot of people are like, how do I do this? How do I put a price on like artistic endeavors in general? And it's like, I know a lot of people struggle with that.
All right, I'm going to do this thing where I look into the camera.
Okay, go for it.
To the handful of people watching this video, and you know who you are, the ones that have tried me to actually get me to charge industry level prices, I apologize for my actions in the first couple of years of production. Okay, that's the end of that statement. It's taken me years to learn the worth of my job. Mm-hmm. It's taken me years to figure out like, how do you charge? Because Whispers at 750,000 streams on Spotify, and that was free for me. So like, what business do I have charging crazy prices to anybody else?
Yeah.
That's a hard tension to live in, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I have a responsibility to the industry. I have a responsibility to my own reputation as a producer. I have a responsibility to the artists to provide value in what ways I can. I have a responsibility to peers of mine that I don't undercut them in pricing.
Yes.
All of that
Yeah.
comes together. And the Lord has been patient with me, and my friends have been patient with me as they've been like, Sam, you've got to charge. Over the years, it's been sweet to see how the Lord's used people to go, no, your work is actually worth something. Your time is actually worth something. Sometimes it's just going to take time to teach you that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Right? Just like it would anything else. But unless you actually like go out and say the scary thing of, well, going rate in this industry is this, I provide that. Look at measurables. Look at diversifying your services for clients. Do you just produce? Do you mix master? Do you offer vocal comping? What do you offer?
Also, just ask other people.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine too. Most people are pretty chill with it.
Right.
And if they aren't chill with it, they're probably not your friend anyway.
That's an unfortunate byproduct of the industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes learning that via that interaction is more fun than learning it once you're knee deep into a song.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And that's hard. I am a non-confrontational person. I am disconfrontational. I am
actively pushing it away.
Yes, deconfrontational person. No, I don't want to mess with that. Yeah. And it's allowed me to be, what's the theological term? A pushover.
Yeah.
And that's not helpful to anyone.
No.
And so I would recommend, like, if you're starting out, if you're that person fresh out of college that we're talking about, looking in the camera again, listener, if you're heading out of college, trying to get into this, I do recommend making your prices pretty reasonable. Especially if you're getting into it for the first time. I do think that there's a lot of wisdom in being willing to do, just like you said, if you're willing to make 10,000 beats in a closet for nothing, if you don't want to do that, you probably don't want to be doing this job.
Yeah.
But that in one hand,
yeah.
In the other, at the same time, your work is worth something. Mm-hmm. Your time is worth something. Your emotional investment is worth something. I have learned in hard ways and in fun ways, charge like that's true. Charge like that's true. And yeah, if if there are folks listening to this episode that have, run me through the grinder on all of that, I have you to thank for that for sure. It's been a process, just like it is for anybody else. And it's still a process for me, and I'm not going to act like it's not. But
sure. It's always a thing that it's a thing for literally everybody that I know is undercharging themselves because they're like, it's rare that I find a person who's like, man, I'm way overcharging people right now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I feel like I'm you both feel like you're undercharging and overcharging at all times. And to be honest, if you looked at how much you actually worked on a project and how much you got paid for it, you probably should have doubled your cost. Yeah. Almost every single time. Every single time.
I would absolutely agree.
And I have to remind myself of that whenever I've like going into a new year of and thinking about price renegotiation and stuff. It's like, I kind of have to get that in my brain a little bit. It's like, all right, double. Let's think double as a starting point and then start working your way down from there.
Yeah. And because I'm in your head listener that doesn't want to do any of this stuff because I've been there, this is not in the sense of, business numbers. Is this working? Like, that's not what we're trying to do. It's more along the lines of what value objectively do you contribute to a project? Are you contributing that value to a project? If the answer is yes, charge like it. That would be what I'd have to say to that. It's a process.
Yeah.
Still, we're gonna learn together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been definitely a plot thread.
It also changes, and I say this trepidatiously because I don't want people to like think I'm saying something that I'm not. So maybe we can like do a little explainer after I say this, but it does change how people treat you.
I agree
in a positive way. I was talking to a guy, recent friend of mine. Me and Shama were at Winter Jam yesterday, and he's a part of SEU worship, and they're on a rise right now. Right? They're definitely like in the worship space. They are very much like on a rise. They have a couple songs doing really well. They're starting to get like bigger opportunities. They're starting to like turn down some stuff. And he's like, yeah, we're probably going to have to raise our rate because we need certain respect in certain arenas, and that requires a pay raise. It changes how, and he was like, it changes how people treat you. It changes the accommodations that are expected. It changes like how nice people are when you're like actually doing the event or conference or whatever the heck it is. And like, obviously that's a little more towards like the live aspect, but at the same time, we can take away from that the idea of we need to raise our rates in order to be approached from an air of like, I am responsible. So it puts more responsibility on me because now I'm charging more, but it also puts more responsibility on the other side as taking us seriously and trusting us and giving more you're giving more financially, therefore you're giving more responsibility as well.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah,
like
it does.
that's my first reaction. It's like, I don't like that.
I would
rather just operate on the honor system.
The
honor system doesn't work.
It was quite
Welcome
literally
to Underside.
Yeah, it is quite literally the. I heard somebody say this. It was like, you know, we'll do just, you know, he is a business guy, so his numbers are like arbitrary, but $250 client,
sure,
7 notes, 3-hour meeting, need to talk about the price, blah 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 blah. $2,000 client. Yeah, sure.
If that isn't just how it goes, and I hate, I got told that a lot starting up,
and you don't believe it,
and I'm like, surely not. And
you don't believe it
for a couple years, and that is how it goes, and that really sucks. It feels antithetical. There's parts of that feel immoral, and I don't like that. But at the same time, I heard it described. There's actually a friend the other day that we were speaking about this, and he described it. If you wanted to go buy diamonds, great. I'm going to downtown Greenville, and I'm going to buy diamonds. I'm going to go where I know I can get good diamonds. I'm not going to get diamonds in an alleyway. If someone came out of an alleyway, is like, yeah, I'll buy you some diamonds. I'll get you some diamonds from here. Yeah. You're not going to want that. It's okay to have like a fancy storefront, and it builds your own credibility as a producer when you've got a strong storefront. So I feel like pricing contributes to that solid storefront. You know that you can go into a Zales or a James Avery or whatever. You already know what you're there for. And there's not some kind of catch. There's not some kind of like, okay, so why do you charge so low? Is it because like
you're going to take forever?
Right. Yeah. And when my turnaround times are 2 weeks, I don't like hearing that.
Yeah, that's true. So, golly, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. I've definitely had to learn the hard way. Storefront. Like, you are exchanging a service for cash. How do you increase, add, or make salient? That third part's the biggest part. Make salient the value that you can contribute to someone's project, especially if you can do a lot of different things, like produce, mix, master, what have you. So, yeah, That's such a good question. There's
Yeah.
probably a lot we can get into there.
There is. Well, and I feel like the pricing discussion is like I said, it's a black box of like no one really wants to talk about it, but also it's
Right,
like
yeah.
almost one of the more important things that you should be talking about,
Especially to beginners.
and
Oh my word.
yeah, exactly, especially to beginners.
Yeah.
And it is a rough reality of like charge more, get taken more seriously, and there's the other side of it of like most of the time, like I said, 2,000, 3,000, whatever, higher paying client.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good. Also, immediately eliminates any kind of stress from either side, and you have a
Right.
more enjoyable time doing the project.
Say they do have just a bunch of crazy edits.
Yeah, that's fine.
I saw a video the other day. There was a movie that came out here. It was, obviously going to win all the awards because it was the greatest movie ever. It's called Captain America, and the something, I don't even remember the title.
The new
It's
one?
where Harrison
Yeah.
Ford plays a giant red monster, and they
Red
give him
Hulk,
an
yeah.
interview
Yep.
of like, okay, you're playing a giant red monster. What kind of breaks the whole like trepidation about that? Like, what kind of breaks the whole oh, I'm playing a red monster and I should be self-conscious. And he, in his like classic deadpan Harrison Ford style, he looks at them, he's like, I hate to break your bubble, but the money helps a lot. And like, sometimes it's just helpful.
True. It's true.
Because you are doing a service in exchange for cash. Isn't that the point?
Yeah.
And so even with those big high paying clients, even if they do have a lot of crazy questions, concerns, whatever, A, it's their song.
Yeah.
So steward it. B, charging a good amount for your time helps. If it takes a lot of time, then great.
And if it takes even less time, you're like, daggum, let's run this again, baby.
Why not? Right.
Yeah.
And that's when you set up relationship.
Exactly. Well, and you
Right.
can double down on the relationship,
Mhm.
and like you can go the extra mile.
Mhm.
Maybe they weren't even expecting you to do things, but then you start building content around their songs and helping promote their songs in other ways.
Exactly.
And getting them connected with other people. And, if you have a label connection, like to do a distro deal on a song, like you start making that connection, and you help push it in your own ways. It's like it incentivizes you to do more too. So
Right. You're building trust
yeah.
as well. That means everything to so many people. And especially with something as intimate as a song usually is, you still get the chance to invest in them in a way that's more than just music.
Yeah.
And so when you're enabling yourself to do that by charging for the time that level of investment will take, everybody's happier.
For sure. I would also love to now pivot into the nerdy stuff.
Let's do it.
Because I feel like that's all. If
all we wanna
there,
talk about
that's a
anyway.
lot of talking. Well, that too, but that's a lot of like really tough conversations we just had, and so let's pivot into something a little more happy-go-lucky and making little beeps and boops. So give me your top 3 like go-to sound design plugins.
My Atlanta.
If you had to desert island 3, baby.
I hate how basic it is to say Serum now.
I mean, yeah,
Like-
you're an FL Studio guy, right?
I am,
Okay.
yes. And so probably I would be shocked if there's not one FL plugin that makes the list.
Great onboard stuff.
Put Serum
to be
up there.
honest. Yeah.
Put Serum. I love it. It's sweet. Yes, I am a Nest Acoustics-aholic as well. He's an alien. But there's so much you can do with Serum and so many resources on it. So it's not just like you can figure stuff out yourself, but you can also get a lot of help with it. That there's not a massive community like there is a Serum community right now. There's not a I don't know. I don't want to throw other plugins under the bus. But Massive's great.
But I feel like Massive is also kind of very menu divey. It can be, at least, whereas Serum feels a little bit more like on the surface. So I would agree with you on that. But then like something like Vital is too new to
It is
have
pretty
like
novel.
to have the community behind it yet.
Yeah,
Though, however, there's a
it is
lot of
accessible.
so accessible and a lot of really great stuff. And if you can't afford Serum, I tend to tell people to
Yep,
go that way.
absolutely. Because you're going to get the basics anyways.
Mhm.
Learn the basics and then make the investment is what I would say, just as a rule of thumb.
Mhm.
Uh, that's never done me wrong.
So
But
number one, Serum.
Serum, number one. Number two, I hate that it comes to my mind, and it's not even a synth plugin. It's a stock amp plugin with FL Studio called Destructor. I feel like I use it all the time.
For what? Just to like mangle stuff?
Anything. When I go, well, here looks we. It appears we have a sound, and it appears I'm uninterested. I pull out Destructor. It's a combination of choruses, distortions, filters, some flangy sounds, you name it. I don't know. I love using it to add detail, to add character, color to a sound, specifically synths. Vocals even has been really fun. When I want to get experimenty, Destructor, 100%. It's stock with FL. I don't know which version FL users. I think Signature. Double check me on that. But Serum, Destructor, golly, I am loving any kind of beat slicer right now. I will take that and a transient shaper and just go ham.
Yeah.
I'm loving that right now. Very demo tapes kind of sound. My current record that I'm working on is very much in that lean of surrealist electronic sounds and taking something like weird spectral IDM and giving it rhythm that kind of goes underneath the piano, for example, has been really fun. So those are kind of the three that come to mind: Serum, Destructor, and like the Beat Slicer, Transient Shaper tandem. I'd say those are my three. That's a weird list.
If you like a transient shaper, I got recently turned on to this plugin. I haven't used it yet.
Okay.
So take it with a grain of salt. But I have a buddy who's big into he like huge bombastic like drum kit sounds.
Let's go.
And big in like he likes a lot of worship drums type stuff.
Okay.
So he's like the thick snare, thick kick, thick
Yeah.
toms kind of things. SPL Vitalizer is what he said he's been using.
Okay.
And
I've heard of it.
And it is, he said, I love it so much. I'm about to buy 4 rack units of it to just like print it on my shelves at all times. Yeah. He's like, I am that invested in this thing. And he's like, for bass guitars too, like thick bass guitars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Transient Shaper on bass, I think, has changed my life. I absolutely love it.
So good.
It's so great because you need that character in your low end so bad. And it feels great. Huge fan.
And so it has like it's like split band. That's why it's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's like a split band. The Vitalizer is like a split band shaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very cool. It looks like a yellowy kind of rack thing.
Okay.
If you want to check it. I think Brainworks has a version of it on Plugin Alliance, I want to say.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, would highly recommend giving that one a check out if anybody wants to check that one out. Shout out my homie Shane Nelson for that one. He's a big drum nerd, and I love him for it.
Let's go.
But yeah, that one's really good. I think people sleep on they sleep on some of their stock stuff. FL's got great stock stuff. And honestly, most plugins, Pro Tools is the only one that I'm like, I can only count on one hand, like the amount of good stock stuff that I actually use in it.
Probably agree. Yeah.
Logic, great stock stuff. I think I was talking to a buddy the other day who uses Logic, and he was talking about how like he's built some racks fully out of like preset racks fully out of just like stock Logic stuff to give to people. And I was like, I've done the same thing with Ableton. I have a mastering rack fully in like Ableton. I have a guitar rack fully in Ableton that sounds awesome. I use it on like that lo-fi project stuff that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
It's like fully Ableton stuff.
Let's go.
I made a vocal chain fully Ableton. The only thing you have to have is like a tuning plugin, which like
Sick.
I don't have the newest version of Ableton, but the newest version of Ableton has like an auto-tune EFX type plugin in it now. So
there you go.
You actually could even just do that.
Yeah.
now
Man,
too,
that's
which is
wild.
crazy.
I don't know. I feel like it comes down to 90% of DAWs
Yeah.
have the basics.
Hmm.
Learn the basics. Use the cheap stuff. I still think Citrus in FL Studio. Shout out to all my Citrus boys. If y'all keep using Citrus, it will teach you sound design techniques that will
Oh
pay
yeah.
off once you can actually afford Serum.
Yeah.
The fact that I was um, in high school and dead broke, and I had just gotten FL Studio by some miracle of the Lord, and I was pouring through the internet, downloading anything Cymatics had to offer for free, while still needing to use Citrus, or I couldn't even afford Harmor. I had Harmless, and those that use FL Studio know the pain. Learning the fundamentals was important.
Yeah.
It's still worth it, and I still really love Citrus. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
do.
Sometimes you just grab it.
Right. It's just second nature, even though I have like Silent and Serum and
Sure.
Massive and all the crew. Like, no, it's once you get the fundamentals, the whole DAW is unlocked to you in such a cool way. And so, yeah, love the stock stuff. It's still great, even though OTT is God's gift to mankind.
It's also free.
And it's free. You should download that thing.
You should. So I would say if you had to give from like a sound design perspective, because I definitely view you as like you and Matt specifically as like the sound design people that I know that if I have a question, I'm probably gonna ask one of you two.
Oh, snap. That's cool.
And so I would love for you to give, especially since a lot of this has been geared towards like people in that transitionary period of trying to get
Sure,
that,
yeah.
and they want to get into sound design. What would be if you had to give like a handful or maybe like two or three like things for them to focus on?
Yeah.
What, because like sound design can be so big. So if you just hone it down
Yeah.
to like a handful of techniques to like really work on.
Okay. I think my sentence to you would be weird and don't overthink it. Be weird. Let yourself do the weird thing. Put a formant on synths. I thought I was the only one doing that until Ben posted his video on Nest saying that he was doing it. I'm like, I'm the smartest human to have ever lived. Vindication is mine.
Yeah.
And but no, put a format shifter on synths. It feels really good. It softens up things. It's a weird thing to do. You think of that with vocals. Let yourself be weird. Put a flanger on things. Gate things. Sound design just as much in your mixer rack as you do in Serum. I think that that's like just as powerful and can help you just as much. Use automation to your advantage. You can control things. Use volume well. Cut stuff that you don't need in your mix. Be weird. And don't overthink it. There's really like so much space in the sound design world, just like you were talking about. It's so vast, and because it's so vast, it's easy to overthink it. If you're trying to draw a picture of a house and a man, you could do the most photorealistic, genuinely just stunning Renaissance artwork imaginable, or you could do a stick figure. Both are a house and a man. Just make sure you get a house and a man. As long as you're fulfilling the goal that you've set out for yourself in your sound, do that. And try not doing any more. You don't have to overthink it. You're never going to get to a point with sound design where you're like, ha, done, finished. No, you have to live in the tension of not knowing, and that's okay. Yeah, be weird, don't overthink it. Still learning how to do both those things myself. But that's what comes to my mind first.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that because I do think, like I said, it is so vast, such weird things. You can do anything.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is kind of hard to know like what to do.
Right. Yeah.
My go-to thing is if it doesn't have a distortion on it, throw a distortion on it.
I love that.
That's like my go-to.
felt.
Dude, that's my go-to. Like, I'm trying to learn sound design. What should I do? Throw a distortion on literally everything.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
Yeah.
See how it sounds. Crank it, turn it down, try different variations of stuff. That's my go-to thing.
Yeah.
The format shifter is a good one. Throw a format shifter on something and just kind of see
Do
what
it.
happens.
Yep.
I would say, yeah, those things. Crank a feed everything into like a delay and into a reverb. Like
Yeah.
try weird combinations of
Yeah.
things.
Figure out where your sound goes in a space. Like, make a space for your song. What kind of space does your song take up? Is it in a bedroom? Is it in a bathroom? Is it in a swimming pool? Is it in the Grand Canyon? Is it
So
on Venus?
if you
Design.
close your eyes and envision this
Right.
song being somewhere, yeah, make a space for
Right.
that. Yeah.
That's good for reverb and it's good for delay, but it's also good for like your sound selection as well, which I'd say is just as important as your sound design. Sound
100%.
selection. Like, develop a sense of taste, which I hate that word. It's so subjective, but like,
it is one of the most
important.
It's one of the most important things.
Yes.
Getting into this, like in general, is refining your taste, which I could talk about for another hour.
I'm pretty sure I could too. And with all of the caveats that I have not fully refined my taste yet. Like, I'm still learning so much, and allowing yourself to continue to learn without worrying about the results. It just goes back to what we said at the very beginning of this conversation. Leave all resulting, do the next thing.
Yeah.
Forget like, oh, well, this song needs to get 2,000 streams in order to have succeeded. No. Set a goal for your song. Set a goal for your sound design. Set a goal for your creative process and chase it. If it's the Lord will bless it.
Well, the biggest part of it is getting it out there is all you can do. That's the only thing you can control about it, really. Like, how it gets received isn't up to you. So best thing to do is just to do the part, to get it out and make it the best it can be. On that, I would love, last thing to get into, back to using what you have. You are one of the most DIY people when it comes to mixing. We talked about this in the car when we were driving back to Matt's place. You fully mix on headphones, right? Like, primarily?
I do. And
but not even like a fancy like VSX like type of headphones.
Just these. I hear the cries and screams of terror from the ether, and I understand you. I really do. A lot of that comes from just not having a space in high school to mix. I didn't have a professional grade studio with sound equipment. I had 2 pillows on my bed and a rug if I was lucky. And because I was a sophomore in high school and I had an actual bedroom like a regular sophomore in high school does. And so it's kind of just the same thing as what we're talking about with the stock plugins. Make do with what you have and leave the results just up to time. And these headphones are the same headphones that I listen to music to just for fun. I was able to like find what I enjoyed with just mixing decisions and personality in that. And go, okay, how do I make this sound like I want it to sound? Which is aggressively simple when it comes to mixing. Mixing is another just wide world that I know I'm never going to get to the bottom to. But like, there is a point where you kind of just have to stop overthinking it and go, yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, it's good. Objectively, the vocals are riding on top in a good way. Everything's accessible. Everything's gain staged. Everything feels platformed. What's your winner in a song? Is it guitar? Is it lead? Is it keys? Pick your winner. What's good? Mixing principles. You can actually find those. It'd be nice to mix over monitors, but I'm gonna be honest, it just feels so unnatural to me at this point. It's kind of like learning how to write, like use a pencil in the wrong way and you can't change it for the rest of your life. That's me. Hi. I'm Sam and I mix on headphones. Always have.
No, I on like a pair of like $50-$100 headphones too. Which is like amazing. It's just the most amazing thing.
It's really not to me, and that's where I'm so amused by it. It's like,
well, it's not amazing to you because you've always done it.
Yeah, I've always done it. There's no need. Why would I forget about any of that stuff? I don't see a reason.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. I really like it. It's just a testament to. I was talking to on another podcast episode a guy named Elliot Glenn, and he and I were kind of going back and forth on the episode because we both have these VSX like Slate headphones, and they're super cool. Yeah. And he was basically saying kind of the same thing. It's like you kind of like, it's dope to have like all the options and like be able
Yeah.
to listen to it in these kind of different environments and check it out on like different headphone sets and different environment sets and like a
Yeah.
boom box and like checking like all of these things. It does help in some things, but primarily you pick like two things and that's what you
Yeah.
listen to. And that's
Because
kind of it.
you're cranking out as many client projects as you are, like you've got to default to good practices. And once you set them,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about those anymore. You just go. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It is funny to me. It's funny to find that after producing for 10, 11 years, how vast of a minority I am in. For good reason. For good
Yeah,
reason.
for
Hear
good
me.
reason, probably.
But
Yeah.
it's still amusing. But
I love it. Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show, coming and chatting. It's been a great time. Good to have you. An hour's already flown by, dude.
seriously,
Already
it
been an
flew.
hour.
So honored. Thank you so much for having me around. It's been
Yeah.
awesome to get to know you over the last couple of years and get to hang
Yeah,
out.
bro. If you want to send people somewhere, check you out, where should they go?
I think they should go to www.lego.com and treat themselves. If you happen to be interested in any of my music, Sam Bowman Music on all platforms. If you want to listen to Spotify, Sam Bowman, Bowman. You'll find some songs about fire and ghosts and planets, and I really hope that they encourage you. But regardless, thanks so much for having me around today. Love getting to talk through some things.
Yeah, dude.
For sure. So honored.
Dude, thank you so much. Always glad we'll have to have you back. There's so many things that we could have gone on about for hours on, and
I bet, yeah.
honestly, it would be dope to have you back on just to see what else we get into another time. But for now,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much, listeners. And we'll see you guys in another one later.